I'm jumping on a minute early just to give everybody a chance to join me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Carol C.C. Miller, your positive life strategist, peace activator, and global hugger, coming to you with another Embrace Your Life chat where the intention is to focus on heightening celebrations and lessening sorrows through a positive focus. I am here in Chicago. I think you can see out my window because it's not sunny today. I usually close the blinds when it's too sunny because then I can't see the screen. But today is a rainy, chilly spring day here in Chicago. Let me know in comments where you're joining me from, and welcome. And also let me know if you're new to my work in positive focus. I love having you here. So let me check really quick here. I see some people. Pierre is joining us. Welcome, welcome. And a couple of things I'd like to say before we get started on today's topic is something I say each time to let people know a little bit more from where I'm coming from. And one is I'm not an absolutist. I'm not a big fan of using the words always, never, right, wrong, good, or bad. There's 7 billion people on this planet. I can't begin to say what is right for 7 billion people. So my work and my focus is on the majority of the time. So I look at it as a scale of 0 to 100, 0 being always negative, 100 being always positive. I don't know anybody at 0 and I don't know anybody at 100, but I know people who are closer to the 100 and closer to the 0. So my work, my daily practices is to stay in the 80 to 100%, always positive, kind, loving, compassionate, and peaceful. Those are my values that I work from, that I consciously make decisions from daily, honestly. And sometimes I'm not that. So that's why I say it's the majority of the time. Fear visits me, frustration visits me, disappointment, anger, all those normal heavy feelings visit me. But because of my daily practices and my intentions of who I want to be and how I want to show up in this world, they visit, they don't move in. Secondly, I'm a coach. I love supporting people in living their best life, whatever that looks like to them. I am not a counselor, nor am I a therapist. And sometimes to live your best life, working with a counselor or a therapist is going to help you get there as well. So whether it's a counselor, therapist, me as your coach, somebody else as a coach, your best friends, clergy members, whoever it is, I encourage you to create that support system for you that's going to help you live your best life. And of course, help those in your support system live their best lives too. So those are the two things that I like to go over. And then sometimes I have guests. Today is not one of them, but when I hear solo, I generally pick a word. Then we talk about an affirmation around that word, and then some tips on how to incorporate that word into your daily practices of living your best life. Remember, I'm not an absolutist, so you can try it if you want to, or if it doesn't sound like it makes any sense to you, just let it go. I will say the words always and never on occasion, but it's rare because I don't know of many situations that are always or never. I find it interesting. A lot of people say they are always kind. And this has been my daily practice for years now, and I'm not always kind. I am the majority of the time for sure, because it's one of my values to be that. And if I want a kinder world, for me, it's showing up in that to be that kinder world as well. But I'm not always kind. And generally speaking, my unkindness is in thoughts. And it's generally aimed at myself, or why didn't I say this? Why did I do that? Why didn't I do, or should I have done this kind of thing? But I'm not an always kind person. I'm not always loving. I'm not always compassionate or peaceful. I am that the majority of the time because I've practiced it for years to be that. Keep in mind, even though my work is to be the 80 to 100%, the majority is 51%. So if you're right now, if you were to take a look into what your normal daily thoughts, words, and actions are, and just ask yourself, are they mostly kind and generous and loving and compassionate and peaceful? Or are they more in the focus on what you don't want in your life? It's not a right or wrong. It's just, where are you today? And then you can start moving toward where you want to be, towards where you want to feel and live in that space. So again, if you're at 40%, it's not wrong. It's not bad. It's where you're at. And you get to choose if that feels good and you want to stay there, or if you want to start taking some small steps towards feeling a little bit better. So let me again go back into comments, and I'm going to check comments really quick. pop back in today's subject, then go into comments at the end. So if you have questions about today's topic, or you have ideas on some topics you would like me to cover and bring a little bit more love, kindness, compassion, and peace to in the future, put those in comments. And lastly, before we go in, I use a service called StreamYard. So sometimes I'm on Positive Focus, I'm on my personal page, and then I'm in my Embrace Your Life community. Sometimes I don't see your comments live, but I will look later. So if I don't mention your name or answer your question, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's because I didn't see it while it's live. So let me check really quick here and see who is with me today. I love our community because it's a global community. Hi, Duan. Good to have you here. Ginger, hello. Terry from South Africa. Terry, I would love to go to South Africa. And right underneath that, Kate, I would love to. I've been to Ireland, but I would love to go back to Ireland. Steve in Germany, that's another. It's probably easier for me to say the places I don't want to visit than the places I do want to go to. Tina, West Bloomfield, and Stacy is here. Stacy, I do still have some of your questions. And Pierre is here from Egypt. Lots of wonderful places that we've got going on here today. And what I mentioned earlier is actually the topic for today, and that's intention. And what intentions are you setting for how you want to live your life? If you want a life that's filled with more kindness in it, then intend to be that. Intend to be the love that you want to see in the world. Intend to be the compassion, to the peace, the health, whatever it is that's going to make your life its best possible life. Start by setting intentions around it. Again, not 100% of the time I set intentions, and sometimes I don't follow through with them. The majority of the time, because I'm aware of those intentions, they help catapult me into keeping focus on what I want in my life rather than what I don't want in my life. And when I start focusing on the don't wants, which I do, I'm reminded that this doesn't feel good. What can I do to feel a little bit better and move forward towards what I want? I want to make sure people are aware that when I'm saying focusing on what I don't want, I'm not saying to ignore it and to pretend it doesn't exist, but I'm wanting to ask you how much attention and time and energy do you want to give it? So there's the healing through it, there's the moving through it, there's whatever it is. But often when we ignore things and pretend they don't exist, they don't go away. They just kind of get buried for a little bit and they're going to pop back up. Our fears, our frustrations, our sadness, all of those things want to be heard and to be expressed and to be understood. So when we ignore them, it's not dissipating them. When we say, I see you, I feel you, and what can I do to feel a little bit better? That's when the dissipation happens. And that's when, depending if it's coaching, counseling, therapy, or just your own internal work that you're doing, that's when you move through it. So today, intention is the word we're going to use. And the intentions definition is what one intends to do or bring about. Intend is to have in mind as a purpose or goal. So when you're intending things, it's to have the intention of following through. It's a purpose, it's a goal on what you want to do. And when you're focused on what you don't want to do, we don't intend to focus on that, but it happens. It's part of life. So when you set these intentions and start moving forward with an intent of, today, I intend to be happy today. I intend to be peaceful today. I intend to be loving today. I intend to be kind today. I intend to be productive today. Whatever it is that you start your morning intending, it's going to help you get moving forward to what you want. Does not mean fear's not going to visit you, frustration, all of those things could still visit. But when you're aware of how you feel and how you want to feel, you're going to move forward quicker with intention than not having an intention set. So today's affirmation is, I intend to live my best life moment by moment. And I chose to put moment by moment because sometimes living our best life seems so expansive and out there and not today. And my best life is different day to day. My best life when I'm feeling good, I've gotten great sleep, I'm ready to go, I'm energized and excited, is a completely different feeling than the days where I'm sad about, a loved lost one or something. And so knowing where you're at allows you to determine what your best day today is going to be. Sometimes your best day is your proud of yourself that you got out of bed because you're going through something really, really hard. Sometimes your best day may be understanding that you need to stay in bed today because it's so hard. So it's not a right or wrong, good or bad. It's what's right for you right now. Also for affirmations, because again, the affirmation today is I intend to live my best life moment by moment. I encourage you to create your own affirmations with the words that you would use, but an affirmation is simply a statement. It's not positive or negative. It could be, I'm not very smart, and that would be affirming that as well. If I'm affirming I am very smart, that's a positive affirmation. However, if I immediately think to myself, I've done a lot of really not smart things today, so it's unbelievable to me, I've negated the positive statement. So you want to make your affirmation and then listen to it and feel it. And if it's a yes or a stretch to yes, then it's a good affirmation for you. But if you're immediately negating it, it's not going to be that helpful for you. And affirmation, you want to repeat it. You want to write it down and look at it. I've done it for so long, I don't even necessarily need to, like, it's just kind of in the back of my head. And I switch mine up all the time too. So like I'll use this one, but I also have others. And when I realize I'm ignoring them, then I switch it up so it's something fresh for me to focus on. If you say, I intend to live my best life moment by moment, and you immediately like, no, I don't. I'm really frustrated today. I'm really struggling today. I don't even know what my best life looks like right now. Then go into, I'm in the process of intending to live my best life moment to moment. I don't say this enough, and I probably should. I don't like to say the shoulds either, but it's really about being gentle with yourself, because when we're beating ourselves up over, I've set an intention to do this, and then I'm at the end of the day and I didn't do it. If I'm beating myself up over it, I'm keeping myself stuck in that energy of what I don't want, what I don't want to focus on, what I don't want to experience, rather than, for whatever reason, being gentle. Ask yourself, get curious. Why didn't I do it? But step out of the blame, shame, complain, and step into compassion. And know tomorrow's a new day, and maybe that wasn't a good intention for you to set, and you set the bar too high for you to meet it. So keep that in mind too. Another tip is to know what you value. I don't think I have live on my website. I'll have to look for the link. I have a value list that you can look at all these different types of things to value, and you circle like 10, and then you bring it down to your top 3. My values are love, kindness, compassion, peace, and positivity. So those are what I think about when I'm thinking about who I'm going to work with, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to show up. Am I showing up in those values, or am I not showing up in those values? Again, it's the majority of the time. I don't show up in those values every single time. I'm aware of it much quicker because it's been a daily practice for so long, but it's about doing it the majority of the time. I really encourage you to pay attention to when you use the words always or never, because in my experience, it's very rare for either of those to be 100% true. Some of them might be 99% true, but there's going to be 7 billion people, exceptions to those rules. So that's one of the reasons that I'm not a big fan of those words. Get clear on what your best life looks like. So I've had this as a tip before, many times actually. I would love to see you write down a list of everything you want to experience in your life. I don't care if you're 18 or if you're 80 right now. What do you want to experience in your life? Have some of the big things that you want to experience to the small things that like you might even have them on your calendar right now that you're going to do this, but write it all down and then look at that list. So everything, the things that scare you that you can't, like you still want to do it, but it scares you because you can't imagine doing it. It's not like it scares you and you don't want to do it, to the things that are pretty sure are going to happen, but just take some time. Maybe I would even encourage you to not do it in just one sitting, like do it for a little bit, go do other things, a couple days later, look at it, add some more things. You're going to find that maybe some things you'll take off in the next step. The next step, once you've gotten this list, and this list is a living, breathing document. You're going to change it from time. You might change it tomorrow for that matter, but it's not like it's a complete, this is all I ever want to experience. I love to travel, and so I'll see somebody's pictures on Facebook on a place that I'd never even heard of. And so I go look at it. I'm like, yep, I want to go there too. So it's going to shift and change for you. So know that it's going to evolve, and you're going to find maybe you wrote something that was important today, and in 6 months, for whatever reason, it's not important. So you can take it off. But the next step is I want you to then look at each item you put on that, and does it elicit enjoyment and excitement, or does it elicit fear? And what I mean by fear is not I'm afraid to do it, because that probably is not going to be on your list, but it's I'm afraid how it's going to happen. I don't see a path for it to happen. There's no way this can happen for me. And the importance of knowing the feeling behind it is I want you to pay attention. I want you to start creating some inspired action steps to the ones that excite you, that bring you the joy, that make you want to get out of bed. The other ones, even though they may be big experiences that you want to have, because you're focused more on the lack of having them or the lack of knowing how to have them, I still want them on your list, but those aren't the ones that you're going to necessarily place your attention on today. So you're going to focus on the ones that bring you excitement, that you do see a path to, or maybe you don't even see a path to it, but it doesn't scare you. You know that you're going to get there somehow, some way, sometime. So that's what I want you to focus on there. And then I want you to start your day with intention on how you want to feel, on what you want to do, what I said earlier on, I intend to be productive today. Each morning, start and think about what it is that you want to be today, not necessarily even accomplish. We tend to have all those to-do lists, and I tend to have them as well. How about a to-be list? How do you want to intend to be today? Perhaps patient. Perhaps you want to be kinder to people and to yourself, but set those intentions in the morning to take you through the day. And of course, gratitude is always a great way to move through your day with a little bit more grace in these too. But set the intention on who you want to show up as and who you want to be today, the majority of the time. You may have a day where you're 100% in kindness, in love, in whatever it is that you intended it to be. But most likely, a lot of us are going to have slip-ups. We have that phone call with an irritated person that lets us go back into fear or frustration. So who are you the majority of the time? How do you want to show up the majority of time? And then start taking some small steps towards any of these things that you're wanting to work on, that you're wanting to create in your life, that you're wanting to be in your life. So maybe it's you want more confidence. Look at ways that you can take steps. Affirmations are a great way to start working on your confidence and building from there, focusing on the things that you're really good at and continuing with that as you bring in some things that maybe isn't your strength that you want to grow, the focus on that. So just take some inspired action. You can certainly force action. There's a lot of people in this world who are incredibly successful in the terms of financial success, and they have forced things to happen. So for me, it's inspired action on this feels right for me. And sometimes it's scary, but I still know it's right. So it's about that feeling I get. Sometimes the feeling of fear is telling me not to do something. And sometimes the feeling of fear is telling me this is scary, but it's the right thing for you to grow and evolve and do from there. So the inspired action. And then the awareness of how you feel. I didn't put it as the top one today. Usually it's my top tip, but stay in awareness. When we are on autopilot, life is living us. When we are aware that we're mad, when we are aware that we're feeling good, when we're aware that we're tired, we can shift from there, or we can stay. When you're aware of how you feel, even if you feel angry, you get a choice to stay there. If you're aware of the anger and it doesn't feel good to you, you get a choice to take some small steps into feeling a little bit better. So it's really about the awareness of staying in tune to how it feels to you to move forward. When you're feeling the fear, sometimes the fear is telling you not to do something. Sometimes the fear is telling you, come on, get out of your comfort zone. You can do this. It's the more you pay attention to the feeling behind it, the more you're going to know if it's the right next step for you. Maybe it's not the next step for you for 6 months, but for right now, it's the right next step for you. And then again, be gentle with yourself. This is not 100% accuracy on anything for me. Maybe you work that way and that's fine too. But for me, it's who do I want to be and how do I want to show up the majority of the time? I want a kinder world. So the majority of the time I show up kinder in my world. I want a more loving world. Majority of the time I show up more loving. I want a peaceful world and I want a compassionate world. So the majority of the time I show up that. And not that all the time. And because I've lessened it from being, I always have to be kind, it's just easier to not beat myself up over it because I know the majority of the time I am that. Does not mean, I promise you, sometimes when I catch myself really angry about something that I should not allow to take my attention there, that I don't like, Carol, you've been doing this for so long. Why is this happening? But then I go back into, okay, I'm focused on what I don't want. Let me look at what I can learn here from that focus and move forward to feeling a little bit better. So I hope setting intentions is a good start for you. And again, it's an invite. Even in my coaching clients, that's one of the first things I tell them. I'm never going to tell you what you have to do or you shouldn't do. I will invite you to do try these different tips and tools as we work together creating your best life. So let me see if there's any other questions. Hello, Stephanie. Kareem from, I lose these comments so quickly. It drives me a little crazy. The Philippines. Thank you. Saling, I'm not sure. I'm not really good at pronunciating names sometimes, so I apologize for that. I do not see any more questions, and I just accidentally closed my questions here completely. So now I can't even see them. Oh, they're there. Oscar, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And again, if you have any other topics you would like me to cover, I do know that I have a few. Probably tomorrow I will talk about avoiding negativity. I know that somebody brought that up yesterday. And Stacia, I still have your one on making decisions. So that will probably be next week. And somebody else wanted me to talk about dealing with anxiety and nervousness, which is I'll probably put those two together because they're a similar feeling. It just depends on the power that they have over you. Again, fear, frustration, disappointment, sadness, anger, unworthiness, all of them are okay and normal emotions to have. It's what do you want to do with them and how long do you want to give them the power over you? Sometimes it requires support from a coach, a therapist, a counselor, or whatever to move through them. So it's whatever you can do to create your support team to live your best life. Hi, Kathy. Good to have you. Negative feelings and anxiety. Yep. I'm probably going to, okay, I'm going to write those down because they're a tiny bit different than what I already had written down, but not too much. So, Kathy, if you can, tomorrow at 11:30, I will be here 11:30 Central Time, which is Chicago. I'm 90% sure I'm going to cover negativity tomorrow. So unless another urgent topic comes up, that's what I'm going to cover tomorrow. I am here on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 11:30 to hopefully help heighten celebrations and lessen sorrows through a positive focus. How can I be consistent in my, Oscar, towards achieving my goals? Okay, that's another good one. Thank you, Oscar. I'm writing it down now because I will forget as soon as we get off here. Consistent. I'm going to say right now, Oscar, one would be start affirming it. Like, it's really easy, especially if you're in that state. And I got to tell you, Oscar, especially when you think about New Year's resolutions, people start the goal and then they fall off, within the month of January. So it's very common to have that experience of not sticking with a goal. But so we affirm it, like, I've never done it before. Why is it going to be different this time? So start affirming that you're able to stick with it, or get curious about, I wonder what it would be like if I actually am consistent with the goal. And if it's the same goal that you're consistently inconsistent about, ask yourself why. Maybe it's too big of a stretch for you right now. Maybe if you're wanting something that you really can't see happening, so you're already sabotaging it. And I'm not even a big fan of that word, but you're already delaying it from happening because you don't see it. So you might want to step your goal back into something a little bit smaller, a little bit more obtainable. And then the more that you had those successes of reaching those goals, the easier it is to keep building upon them and go after the bigger goals. One thing for me, I'm not a big fan of the word goal. I use experience. For whatever reason, I'm word sensitive. That's not for whatever reason. But for whatever reason, goals seems intimidating to me where experience doesn't. So I use what do I want to experience rather than what goals am I setting for myself. I want to experience this. I want this goal. It's whatever works for you. So it's not a right or wrong. It's just what works for you. How does it feel to you to use the words that you use? Words matter. Intentions matter. Inspired actions matter. All of it matters. It's who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? And how do you want to be gentle with yourself in the process of showing up? Oh, thank you so much, Kathy. That's so kind of you to say. I appreciate that. All right, everyone. I think we're covered for today. I do not see any other question, but again, oh, I do see one, Maria. How do we avoid easily being discouraged? Great questions today, team. Avoiding being discouraged. You know what I think I'm going to use, because this word has come up a couple of times, several times actually, and I want to write down the names of Maria. I think I'm going to do one, I don't know, next week, but about the word avoid, because we tend to want to avoid things that hurt, that don't feel good. And avoiding it is not often, again, the majority of the time, it may work sometimes, is not making it disappear. It's just we're pretending it doesn't exist. So it's about being gentle with it and compassionate with whatever we're trying to avoid. There's certainly things in my life that I try to avoid too. And I used to do that all the time before I started Positive Focus. I was that person who just be happy, life is good, ignoring those harder feelings. And sometimes there's even though it's painful and it can be uncomfortable, there's a lot of growth. And I'm going to use this word. I don't know that it's the right one, but there's goodness in it too. I'm just thinking of, like, even when my mom transitioned, it was very painful, and I would love to have ignored it and pretended that she was not on her last few months kind of thing. But I would have missed out on an awful lot of experiences had I pretended it not to be there too. So I don't know if that helps you with the avoiding part, but we will talk about the easily being discouraged part too. But I would encourage you not to worry about avoiding things, but about how we're going to step into them with compassion, how we're going to meet them with gentleness rather than with fear. When we're avoiding things, it's usually because we're afraid of it. And the more that we start telling ourselves, affirming with ourselves that we're worthy just because we're here, it has nothing to do with the price tag. It has nothing to do with the job title you have or anything else, but the worthiness of being here. You're one person out of 7 billion people. It's pretty darn impressive if you ask me. So I think I've got everybody's questions down. I'm going to look them over. Stacy, the Northern Lights are good in Iceland. That is, I totally want to go to the North. There is a tour. It's called the Gray. Stacey, do you know if November is a good time for that? Because my birthday is November 29th. And I think this year I want to go someplace on my birthday. My birthday usually falls around Thanksgiving. So I'm with my family, which is awesome. But this year, I think Thanksgiving is the 24th or something like that. So there's a few days in between. So I'm thinking I might want to go someplace this year for my birthday. And the Northern Lights is definitely on my bucket list, on the experience list. You can call it your bucket list, the things you want to experience. I have mine on my website actually. And a tip I forgot to say is when you create this list and come up with the ones that you're really going to work on, look at them like once a week or once a month, depending on how big they are, to keep them fresh in your mind. And again, remember, some of them you might take off if they're no longer of interest to you. It could be for disappointment, or it could be that you've grown and just don't want to do it anymore. So it's not a right or wrong why you're removing it. It just doesn't feel like something that is something you want to experience anymore. Or it's not one of the big ticket items that you want to experience. So I think I've caught everybody this time. Where did that word come from? I think I have seen everyone's comments. How do you know what your value? Stacia, I am going to look and I will add it in the comments, but I have, it's just a list of words. So like, I don't know, I think I have like 50 different words on there, and it's like, what are things that you value in your life? So I will put the link to that in the values list. Stacia, you're in my Embrace Your Life community. I'm going to put it in there because it'll be easier to find there. So I'll put it in there for you. And the Embrace Your Life community, I'm going to add this link. Let me see if I do it. This link that I just added will take you to almost anything of questions that you might have for me. But I will put it in the Embrace Your Life community. It's a Facebook group here. It's small, so it's easier for me to see comments and questions. And I just asked 2 questions to keep spammers out. And I don't even remember the questions. Maybe one is why you want to join, and I don't remember the other one, but there's 2 questions. If you don't answer those, then unless I specifically know you, I do not let you in. You hit the nail on the head. Thank you so much for that. You're so very welcome, Maria. I'm so glad that that was helpful for you. So go out there, have a wonderful day, set intentions for it to be a wonderful day. Know that a wonderful day does not mean 24/7 it's wonderful. It means the majority of the time it's wonderful. So if there's 24 hours in the day, it means 12 hours and 1 minute of the day makes it the majority of the day being wonderful. If it's not a wonderful day for you right now, that happens too. And I'm sending you so much love and big hugs. I have been here too long already. Otherwise, I would be talking about, I totally meant to talk about, I have to talk about this. So I have t-shirts now for sale. It's a print on demand company. So it's not t-shirts in my home that I'm shipping to you, but I've created in their intention tees to help keep you in that space. So I have this one, which you can't really see the way I'm sitting. It's a hug dealer because I'm a hugger. Then I have a love t-shirt. I have a magic maker t-shirt, a believe t-shirt, and a be kind t-shirt. And they're all to help you remember, like I'm wearing it to remind myself to be that too. So that is in that link. You can find that as well. And I would love to have you support creating more of an intentional, loving, kind, peaceful, and compassionate world that we're all wanting to live in. Maybe not all, but the vast majority of us want to live in that world. So that's what I'm here for. Thank you, Stacey. I appreciate that. Wonderful it will be anyway, as ebb and flow seems pretty natural. Absolutely, Susan. And sometimes when we get in the ebb, it seems like it can take hold of us, especially if it's something that's really challenging. And so it's really the daily practice of being gentle with yourself and moving forward to feel a little bit better, a little bit better. Pay attention to your feelings. Know that you can stay in that space. There are times where I'm frustrated. I promise you, there are people in this world that I don't want to be kind to. I mean, I'm not an action mean person. My thoughts are where my unkindness happens. But I know for me, the more I focus on what I don't want, the more I'm giving it the attention to grow, the attention and energy to grow. So when some experience that is happening in this world has got my attention into anger and frustration and sadness and disappointment and how dare you space, I look at ways to bring love, compassion, and kindness into it. Does not mean that there aren't consequences when you do things to harm yourself or others, but I don't need to add that fuel to it. So there we go. Again, been here a little bit longer than normal, but not a whole lot. So you go out there and have a day of intention, of goodness, of kindness, of peace, of the things that you want in your life more than the things that you don't want. Remember, it's the majority of the time. We're not looking for perfection here. I'm certainly not a perfect person, so I don't expect anybody here to be that either. Just working at getting people to 51% of the time focused on love, kindness, compassion, and peace. My daily practice is 80% because I've been doing it for so long. So be good to yourself, whether you're at 80%, and be good to yourself at your 20%. Who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? And how do you want to move forward in this beautiful and messy world we live in. So go out there and have a wonderful day. Yes, you too, Stacia. And remember, you matter. You matter to me. You matter to the world. And most importantly, you matter to you. So take care. We'll talk soon. We'll talk tomorrow, 11:30 Chicago time. So long for now.